She saved his life 3 times that night. Once on the operating table, once from assassins with silenced weapons, and once by revealing a secret that made hardened soldiers stop and stare. They thought she was just another nurse. They were so wrong. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why some heroes hide in plain sight. And if you love stories that reveal hidden heroes in plain sight, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Silent Badge Stories, so you never miss a moment of truth. The emergency department at St. Michael's Hospital buzzed with controlled chaos. It was 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. The kind of night that usually meant drunken accidents and chest pains. Alina Reyes wiped down the countertop in Bay 3. Her scrubs were pale blue. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. Nothing special. Nothing remarkable. She had worked at St. Michael's for 3 years. The other nurses barely knew her. She was polite, competent, quiet, too quiet, some said. Dr. Marcus Blackwood walked past her station without a glance. He never looked at nurses unless he needed something. Alina didn't mind. She preferred being invisible. The automatic doors burst open. 2 paramedics rushed in with a gurney. A man lay on it, unconscious. His shirt was soaked with blood. His face was covered in dirt and bruises. Gunshot wound to the abdomen, the first paramedic shouted. Found him in an alley on 5th Street. No ID, vitals are dropping. Dr. Blackwood appeared instantly. His ego loved trauma cases. Get him to Trauma 1, he barked. Start to large bore IVs. Type and cross for 6 units. Move. The team swarmed. Alina stayed at her station, watching. Her eyes tracked every detail. The man's boots. Military grade, recently polished. The tan line on his wrist, where a watch should be. The calluses on his trigger finger. She saw what others missed. Dr. Blackwood cut away the man's shirt. The bullet wound was clean. Entry, no exit. But there was something else. Alina's eyes narrowed. A tattoo on his rib cage. Small. Precise. 3. Numbers and a symbol. Her breath caught for just a second. Then her face returned to calm Nurse Mitchell. Dr. Blackwood snapped without looking up. We need more gauze. Are you going to stand there all night? Right away, doctor. She walked to the supply closet. Her movements were measured, professional, but her mind was racing. That tattoo. She knew it. Unit 731. Black operations. Deep cover. This man wasn't a random victim. He was one of theirs. And if he was here, bleeding out in a public hospital, something had gone terribly wrong. Alina returned with the gauze. She handed it to Dr. Blackwood, who snatched it without a word of thanks. The patient's vitals beeped erratically. His blood pressure was dropping. He's crashing, a resident called out. BP is 70/40. Hang another unit of O-negative, Dr. Blackwood ordered. Prep him for emergency surgery. We need to find that bullet. Alina moved closer to the gurney. She pretended to adjust the 4-line. Her fingers brushed the man's hand. His eyes flew open. Just for a second, he saw her face. Recognition flashed across his features. His lips moved. No sound came out, but Alina could read lips perfectly. Compromised, he mouthed. They're coming. Then his eyes closed again. Alina's heart rate didn't change. Her expression remained neutral. But every instinct she had honed over 12 years of operations suddenly screamed to life. She glanced at the emergency department entrance. Through the glass doors, she saw a black SUV pull into the ambulance bay. No lights, no markings. 4 men stepped out. They wore suits. Dark glasses, despite the late hour. They weren't police. They weren't FBI. They were cleaners. Dr. Blackwood was too focused on the patient to notice. The other nurses were busy with charts and medications, but Alina noticed everything. She took 1 step back from the gurney. Her hand moved to her pocket. Inside was her phone. 1 text message would bring a team. Helicopters. Extraction. But that would blow her cover. 3 years of carefully constructed normalcy would evaporate. The men in suits entered through the main doors. The security guard nodded at them. They must have shown credentials. Elena's mind calculated odds, scenarios, outcomes. The lead man scanned the emergency department. His eyes were cold, professional. He was looking for the patient. And anyone who might know too much. Elena turned away. She walked calmly to the medication room. Her heart was steady. Her hands didn't shake. Inside, she locked the door. She opened her locker. Behind her spare scrubs and lunch bag was a false panel. She pressed it. It clicked open. Inside was a phone. Not her regular phone. This one had no apps, no games, no social media. Just one number programmed in. Her finger hovered over the call button. Then she heard voices outside. Dr. Blackwood's voice, annoyed. "I'm sorry, but you can't be back here." "This is a sterile area," a deeper voice responded. "We're federal agents. We need to speak with your gunshot victim. He's unconscious and about to go into surgery. You'll have to wait. I'm afraid that's not possible." Elena closed the phone. "Not yet." She opened the medication room door and stepped out. The four men stood around the gurney. Dr. Blackwood's face was red with indignation. "Nurse Mitchell," he said, spotting her. "Please explain to these gentlemen that we have protocols." The lead man turned to look at Elena. His gaze swept over her. "Dismissed her. Just another nurse, he said, his tone barely polite. "We need you and your staff to clear this area. National security matter." Elena met his eyes. Her voice was soft, deferential. "Of course. Whatever you need." She began to walk away, but her mind was already 3 steps ahead because she recognized the leader's face. She'd seen it in classified briefings. He wasn't a federal agent. He was a mercenary, a contractor for a shadow organization that didn't officially exist, and the injured man on that gurney knew something they desperately wanted to keep. Buried Elena reached the nurse's station. Her hand rested on the desk phone. The men surrounded the patient. One pulled out a syringe from his jacket. Not medication. Sedation. Permanent sedation. Elena's eyes hardened. Her cover was about to end, but some things were worth more than cover. The syringe gleamed under the fluorescent lights. Elena watched the man's thumb move toward the plunger. She had maybe 5 seconds. "Excuse me," she called out, walking toward them. Her voice was still gentle. Still, the obedient nurse. "I need to check his vitals one more time before you speak with him." The lead man's eyes narrowed. "I said clear the area. Hospital protocol," Elena said with an apologetic smile. "If I don't document vitals every 15 minutes during trauma response, I could lose my license. It'll just take 10 seconds. The man hesitated. She could see the calculation in his eyes. Was it worth making a scene over 10 seconds? "Make it quick," he said. Elena approached the gurney. The man with the syringe stepped aside slightly. Not much. Just enough she reached for the blood pressure cuff. Her fingers moved with practiced ease, but as she leaned over the patient, her other hand brushed against the IV line. A tiny pinch, imperceptible. She disconnected the main line and reconnected it to the saline lock. Any injection into that IV would now go nowhere. "All done," she said, stepping back. "He's stable." For now, the man with the syringe moved forward again. He inserted the needle into the IV port. Pushed the plunger. Elena watched. Her face showed nothing. The clear liquid disappeared into the line. Into nothing. The man stepped back, satisfied. They would wait now. Wait for the patient to simply stop breathing. A tragic complication from his injuries. "Thank you for your cooperation," the lead man said to Dr. Blackwood. "We'll take it from here," Dr. Blackwood sputtered. "This is highly irregular. I'm calling hospital administration. Do what you need to do, doctor." Elena walked back to the nurse's station. She could feel their eyes on her back. Dismissive. She was just a nurse. No threat. She sat down. Opened a chart. Her hand steady, but under the desk, her foot pressed against her shoe. The heel clicked. A distress beacon. Silent. Encrypted. Already transmitting help was coming. But it would take time. She needed to keep the patient alive until then. Nurse Mitchell. Dr. Blackwood appeared beside her, his face flushed. This is absurd. Those men have no right to interfere with patient care. I agree, Dr. Alina said quietly. But they have badges and guns. What would you like me to do? He huffed. I'm calling the hospital director. This is going in my report. He stormed off toward his office. The four men remained, around the gurney, waiting. Alina glanced at the clock. 11:47 p.m., the patient's chest still rose and fell. The monitors still beeped, because the poison hadn't entered his bloodstream, but they would notice soon. The lead man checked his watch, frowned, leaned over to check patient's pulse. Elena's phone buzzed. A text from her real phone, the one in her scrub pocket. She glanced at it. Unknown number. Unit is 12 minutes out. Hold position. Her jaw tightened. 12 minutes was a lifetime. The lead man straightened. He looked at the man with the syringe. It should have worked by now. The second man checked the 4 line. His eyes tracked the tubing. Alina saw the moment he understood. His head snapped up. His eyes found her across the room. You, he said. His hand moved to his waistband. To his weapon, Alina was already moving. She grabbed the crash cart beside the nurse's station, shoved it hard toward the men. It rolled fast, heavy with equipment. They scattered. She vaulted over the desk. Her movements were fluid, precise, nothing like a regular nurse. Dr. Blackwood emerged from his office. What in the dot, get down? Alina shouted. The lead man drew his weapon. A pistol with a suppressor. He aimed at Alina. She was already behind a support column. The shot came. A soft theft. The bullet buried itself in the wall behind where she'd been standing. Screams erupted. The few visitors in the waiting area dove to the floor. Other nurses ran for cover, locked down the department. Alina yelled. Hit the panic button. A nurse near the main desk slammed her hand on the red emergency button. Steel shutters began, descending over the exits, slowly, too slowly. The 4 men moved as a unit, trained, professional. 2 went for the patient. 2 came for Alina. She grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall, pulled the pin, sprayed a cloud of white powder directly at the nearest man. He stumbled, blinded. Alina swung the metal canister. It connected with his temple. He dropped. The second man was faster. He grabbed her arm, twisted Alina, went with the motion. Used his momentum. Her elbow struck his throat. A precise blow, he gasped. Released her. Staggered back. The lead man had his gun up. He was 15 feet away. Clear shot, don't move, he ordered. Alina froze. Her hands visible. But her eyes tracked everything. The security shutters were halfway down. The patient still breathed. Dr. Blackwood cowered behind the desk. You're not a nurse, the lead man said. His voice was calm, almost curious. I'm a registered nurse, Alina said. Licensed in this state? Check my credentials. Who do you work for? St. Michael's Hospital. My supervisor is Jennifer Walsh. She's on the 4th floor if you'd like to verify. His finger tightened on the trigger. Last chance, the lights went out. Complete darkness. Alina dropped. Rolled left. She heard the suppressed shot impact where she'd been standing. Emergency lighting kicked in. Red glow. Shadows everywhere. She was already moving. Low, fast. Her hand found the medical supply cart. She grabbed a scalpel. Not her preferred weapon, but it would do. The lead man swung his weapon toward her. She closed the distance. Inside his effective range, the scalpel flashed. A line of red appeared on his wrist. He dropped the gun with a curse. Alina kicked it away, drove her palm into his solar plexus. He went down. The other 2 men had reached the patient. They were disconnecting him from the monitors. Preparing to move him. Stop, a voice bellowed. Hospital security burst through the nearly closed shutters. 2 guards. Retired cops? Good men, but out of their depth. One of the men at the gurney pulled his weapon. Fired twice. The security guards dove for cover. Alina sprinted. She had to protect the patient. He was the mission now. She reached the gurney, positioned herself between it and the armed men. "You're making a mistake," one of them said. "This man is a terrorist. We're authorized to detain him." "Then show me a warrant," Elena said. Her voice was steel now. "No more pretense. Show me federal credentials. Show me anything official. We don't need to show you anything." "Then you're not taking him." The man smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "You're one person, unarmed. Be smart." Elena's stance shifted, balanced. "Ready? I'm giving you one chance," she said quietly. "Leave now. Walk away. Forget this happened, or what?" The ceiling tiles above them exploded. Glass from the skylight rained down. 4 figures in black tactical gear rappelled into the emergency department. Fast rope descent. Military precision. They landed in a defensive perimeter around Elena and the patient. Their weapons were up. Laser sights painted red dots on the chests of the 2 remaining men. "Drop your weapons," one of the tactical operators commanded. "Federal agents. You're surrounded." The 2 men looked at each other, calculated. They were. Outgunned, their weapons clattered to the floor. The tactical team moved in, secured them with zip ties, efficient, professional. Dr. Blackwood stared from behind the desk. His mouth hung open. One of the tactical operators approached Elena. He was tall, built like a linebacker. His face was hidden behind a balaclava, "Ma'am," he said. "Are you injured?" "I'm fine, Sergeant," Elena said. "The patient needs immediate surgical intervention. Gunshot wound to the abdomen. He's stable for now, but we're running out of time. We have a medical team standing by. We'll extract him to a secure facility." "Negative." Elena's voice carried authority. "He won't survive transport. Surgery happens here. Now. I'll assist." The sergeant hesitated. "Ma'am, our orders are to extract." Elena stepped closer, lowered her voice. "What's your unit, Sergeant?" 75th Ranger Regiment, ma'am." "2nd Battalion, then you know the code on his ribs. You know what it means? And you know he dies if we move him." The sergeant's eyes widened slightly. He looked at the patient, then back at Elena. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. Before Elena could answer, the emergency department doors burst open again. More footsteps. "Heavy boots on linoleum?" Dr. Blackwood found his voice. "What is happening in my hospital?" A woman strode through the entrance. She wore a business suit. Her bearing was military despite the civilian clothes. She had gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. Behind her walked 6 more armed personnel. The ranger sergeant immediately straightened. "Director." The woman nodded at him. Then her gaze swept the chaotic scene. The unconscious men on the floor, the broken glass. The frightened staff huddled in corners. Her eyes finally settled on Elena. For a long moment, neither woman spoke. Then the director walked forward. Her footsteps echoed in the sudden silence. She stopped 3 feet from Elena and saluted. The salute hung in the air, sharp, crisp, military perfect. Dr. Blackwood's eyes bulged. The other nurses stared. Even the tactical operators looked confused. Elena returned the salute. Her movement was just as precise, just as perfect. "Director Kane," she said. Her voice had changed. No longer soft, no longer deferential. This was the voice of someone used to command. "Colonel Mitchell," the director replied. "It's been a long time." The word echoed through the emergency. "Department Colonel." Dr. Blackwood made a sound like a strangled cat. Elena turned to the ranger sergeant. "Get the patient to O2. I want a full surgical team. Background checks on everyone who enters that room. No exceptions." "Yes, ma'am." He snapped orders to his team. They lifted the gurney with practiced efficiency. Director Kane watched them go. Then she looked at Elena, really looked at her, taking in the pale blue scrubs, the simple ponytail, the complete ordinariness. "You've been here 3 years, Kane said. It wasn't a question. 3 years, 2 months, 17 days, Elena confirmed. Deep cover. The deepest. Kane nodded slowly. And you just blew it all. For one wounded operative, Elena met her eyes. He was compromised. They were going to kill him. I made a choice. There are always costs to our choices, Colonel. I'm aware. The director turned to her security detail. Secure this facility. No one in or out without my authorization. I want every camera feed, every phone, every piece of evidence. This incident never happened. Understood? Yes, ma'am. They dispersed. Moving with purpose, Dr. Blackwood finally found his courage. Or his indignation. He stepped out from behind the desk. Now wait just 1 minute, he said. His voice shook slightly, but he pushed forward. This is a hospital. You can't just waltz in here with guns and Dan commandos and issue orders. I'm the senior physician on duty. I demand an explanation. Director Kane turned to him. Her expression was flat, unimpressed. Dr. Chen, is it? Yes. Dr. Marcus Blackwood. I've been with this hospital for 8 years. I have privileges, responsibilities, and rights. And I want to know why my emergency department looks like a war zone. The men who attacked your facility tonight were operatives of a hostile foreign intelligence service, Kane said. Her tone suggested she was explaining something to a slow child. They came to assassinate a patient under your care. Nurse Mitchell prevented that assassination. She saved lives. Possibly yours. Dr. Blackwood blinked. But she's just a he stopped. Looked at Elena. Really looked at her for perhaps the first time in 3 years. She stood differently now. Her shoulders back. Her spine straight. Her eyes alert and assessing. She didn't look like just anything. Colonel Elena Reyes, Kane continued. United States Army Special Operations. Recipient of 2 silver stars. A bronze star with valor. And a Purple Heart. She spent the last 12 years in places that don't exist, doing things that never happened. And for the last 3 years, she's been working as a nurse in your emergency department while monitoring a high-value target in witness protection. You live 2 blocks from this hospital. Dr. Blackwood's face went pale, then red, then pale again. You're telling me, he said slowly, that Nurse Mitchell, quiet, unassuming Nurse Mitchell, who I've ordered around for 3 years as a Army colonel, was... Elena corrected quietly. I resigned my commission 2 months ago. Kane's head snapped toward her. What? I sent the paperwork. Official resignation. It's processed by now. Why wasn't I informed? Elena's expression didn't change. Because I knew you'd try to talk me out of it. The director's jaw tightened. We need to discuss this. Privately. After I save my patient. Elena said. She walked past Kane. Past Dr. Blackwood. Past the scattered medical equipment and the bloodstains on the floor. She headed for R-2. Dr. Blackwood called after her. You can't perform surgery. You're not a doctor. Elena stopped. Turned. I'm a trauma surgeon, doctor. 3 years of medical school before I joined special operations. Another 2 years of surgical training in field hospitals. I've operated in caves, in helicopters, in the backs of trucks while under fire. I think I can handle your ore. She disappeared through the surgical doors. Dr. Blackwood stood in the wreckage of his emergency department, his worldview crumbling around him. How much did she hear? He asked Kane quietly. All those times I dismissed her, talked down to her, treated her like she was beneath me. Kane's expression might have been amusement, pity, everything, I imagine. God. He whispered. One of the tactical operators approached Kane. Director, we've secured the perimeter, but we have a problem. What problem? The man we arrested, the lead operative. He swallowed something before we could stop him. Cyanide capsule. He's dead. Kane cursed under her breath. The others lawyered up, not talking. But we found this on one of them. He held up a phone. Encrypted communications. We're working on breaking it, but it'll take time. How much time? Hours, maybe days. Kane looked toward the surgical wing. Through the small windows, She could see Alina scrubbing in, moving with confidence, with purpose. "We don't have days," Kane said. "If they sent a kill team tonight, they know their cover is blown. They'll disappear. Change identities. Vanish. What do you want us to do?" Kane was quiet for a long moment. Then she pulled out her own phone, made a call. "This is Director Kane. Authorization code Delta 774. I need a full asset recall. Everyone we have in the tri-state area. And I need them now." She ended the call. Looked at the operator. "We're going to war. Small war. Quiet war. But war nonetheless. Against who, ma'am?" "That's what I need Colonel Mitchell to tell me. In or two." Alina worked. The patient she'd learned his name was Captain David. Torres lay on the table, anesthetized, intubated, alive. The surgical team around her moved with nervous energy. They'd been pulled from their beds, told only that this was a matter of national security. Alina made the incision, her hand steady, confident, blood-welled. She cauterized, suctioned, worked deeper. "Retractor," she said. A surgical nurse handed it to her. Their eyes met. The nurse had worked with Alina before, seen her assist with minor procedures. But this was different. Alina was leading, commanding, saving there, Alina said. She could see the bullet, lodged near the liver, millimeters from the hepatic artery. One wrong move would be fatal. She didn't make wrong moves. 20 minutes later, the bullet sat in a metal tray. The bleeding was controlled. Torres's vitals were stable. Alina began to close. "He'll live," she told the team. Post-op ICU, isolated room. Armed guard outside his door at all times? "Yes, ma'am," the anesthesiologist said. "Ma, not nurse." Alina stripped off her gloves, or gown. Scrubbed out. Director Kane was waiting in the hallway. "Is he going to make it?" Kane asked. "If infection doesn't set in? If he doesn't throw a clot? If his liver function holds? Then yes, can he talk? Tomorrow? Maybe if we're lucky?" Kane nodded. "We need to know what he knows. What he discovered that was worth killing for?" Alina walked past her, heading for the locker room. "Colonel Lime, not a colonel anymore," Alina said without turning. "I'm a nurse. That's all I want to be." "We both know that's not true." Alina stopped, her back still to Kane. "What I want and what I am aren't always the same thing." "No," Kane agreed. "They're not. But tonight you chose. You broke cover. You revealed yourself. That means something." Alina turned. Her eyes were tired. "So tired, it means I couldn't watch a man die. That's all it means. You're still a soldier. Still one of us, Director Kane. There are 15 more operatives, like Torres out there," Kane interrupted. "All in deep cover. All vulnerable. Whoever sent that kill team tonight knows about at least one of them. Maybe more. I need to protect them. And I need someone who can think like them. Move like them. Someone who's been in the field. You have a whole agency full of people. I need you." Alina closed her eyes. For just a moment, she let herself feel the weight of it. The exhaustion. The cost of always being ready, always vigilant, always pretending. "I left for a reason," she said quietly. "I know I wanted a normal life. A simple life. To help people without having to kill them first. I know that too." Alina opened her eyes. "But it doesn't matter, does it? Because they came to my hospital, threatened my patients, brought violence to the one place I thought was safe." Kane stepped closer, her voice gentle, understanding. "You can't outrun what you are, Alina. I learned that the hard way. So did you tonight." Alina looked at her. This woman who had recruited her 12 years ago, who had sent her into impossible situations, who had believed in her when no one else did. "If I do this," Alina said, "I do it my way. No bureaucracy. No oversight. I find the threat. I eliminate it. And then I'm done," Kane said immediately. "I want full access to all intelligence files on Torres. On the operation he was running, on every asset in the field. Done. And I want my team. The people I trust, they're already on their way. Alina nodded. She'd expected that. Kane always planned 3 steps ahead. One more thing, Alina said. Name it. Dr. Blackwood, the staff here. They saw what happened. They'll have questions. They'll be debriefed. Signed to NDAs. Told to forget? That won't work. Not completely. Word will spread. Kane smiled. It was not a warm smile. Then let it spread. Let people wonder. Let them question. Sometimes the best cover is confusion. Alina almost laughed. Almost. Instead, she walked to the locker room, changed out of her scrubs, into jeans and a dark jacket. When she emerged, she looked different, harder, ready. The nurse was gone. The soldier had returned. The hospital's conference room had been converted into a command center, laptops, monitors, encrypted communications equipment. Military efficiency in a civilian space. Alina stood at the head of the table. Director Kane to her right. 3 other people filled the remaining seats. Colonel Mitchell, Kane began. Just Alina, she interrupted. No rank. Not anymore. Kane nodded, continued. These are the people you'll be working with. Lieutenant Commander James Park, Navy Intelligence. He's been tracking suspicious financial transactions related to our operations. Park was young, maybe 30. Wireframe glasses. He looked more like an accountant than a spy. He nodded at Elena. Ma'am, Agent Reina Vasquez, FBI Counterintelligence. She's been monitoring foreign operative activity in major cities. Vasquez was 40s. Sharp eyes. Latina. She had the look of someone who'd worked her way up the hard way. I've heard of you, Vasquez said. Operation Nightfall. Pakistan border. They say you walked out of there when everyone else was carried. They say a lot of things, Alina replied. Her tone didn't invite elaboration. And finally, Kane gestured to the last person, Dr. Marcus Webb. Cryptanalysis. MIT graduate. He's been working on breaking encrypted communications from hostile. Intelligence Services. Webb was younger than Park. Maybe nervous energy. His fingers drummed on the table. Pleasure, he said. His voice cracked slightly. Alina assessed them. A team thrown together quickly. Not ideal, but workable. Let's get to it, she said. What do we know? Park pulled up files on the main monitor. Captain David Torres was running deep cover in New York. His legend was Daniel Thompson, investment banker. He'd been in place for 18 months. What was his mission? Alina asked, monitoring a suspected Chinese intelligence network, operating out of a tech company. Zenith Innovations. They specialize in AI development and quantum computing. Elena's eyes narrowed. That's not just espionage. That's strategic threat level. Exactly, Kane said. Torres was getting close to identifying the key players. Then 3 days ago, he sent an emergency signal. Said he'd discovered something. Something big. But before he could report, he disappeared. How did he end up in an alley with a bullet in him? Alina asked. Vasquez spoke up. We found surveillance footage from a building near where the paramedics found him. He was running, injured. 3 men were chasing him. He managed to lose them in the alley. System? She brought up the footage. Grainy, dark, but clear enough. Torres stumbled through frame. Blood on his shirt. His face determined. Behind him, 3 figures. Moving with purpose? Alina watched carefully. They're hurting him. What? Park leaned forward. Look at their positions. They're not trying to catch him. They're pushing him. Toward something. Vasquez rewound the footage. Watched again. You're right. They could have shot him multiple times. But they didn't. They wanted him somewhere specific, Alina said. Somewhere they could interrogate him. Find out what he knew. Who he'd told, but he got lucky, Kane said. Found that alley. Hid long enough for a civilian to call 911? Alina shook her head. Not luck, training. Torres knew if he got to a public space, a hospital, police station, anywhere with witnesses, they couldn't finish the job quietly. Webb cleared his throat. I managed to break some of the encryption on the phone we recovered from the dead operative. Everyone turned to him and Alina prompted. There were communications with someone using the codename Shepard. They were given orders to eliminate Torres permanently. The message was sent 6 hours before the attack. Do we know who Shepard is? Alina asked. No, but I traced the message routing. It bounced through servers in Singapore, Romania, and Iceland before reaching the kill team. Professional. Very professional. Alina walked to the monitor. Studied the routing data. They knew we'd trace it. This is misdirection. But even misdirection leaves clues. She turned to Park. You said you were tracking financial transactions? Show me. Park brought up spreadsheets, numbers, bank accounts. Over the last 6 months, we've seen unusual money transfers. Small amounts. 20,000 here, 30,000 there. But they follow a pattern. Every transfer happens exactly 3 days after one of our deep cover operatives checks in. Alina felt ice in her stomach. Someone is tracking our check-ins. Impossible, Kane said. Those communications are encrypted, triple-layer security, and they're randomized. No pattern to exploit, then. Someone on the inside is feeding them information, Vasquez said. The room went quiet. A mole. Inside their own organization, Elena's mind raced. Torres wasn't just stumbled upon by chance. He was specifically targeted, which meant the conspiracy knew exactly who he was. What he was doing, how many people knew Torres's real identity? Alina asked. Kane pulled up a file. 14 people, including everyone in this room. Alina studied the names. Analysts, handlers, support staff. All vetted. All trusted. We need to assume none of them are safe, she said. If there's a mole, they could be feeding information to Shepard right now. About this meeting. About Torres surviving. So what do we do? Park asked. Alina looked at Kane. We run a parallel operation. Off the books. No official channels. We use resources that can't be traced back to the agency. That's a massive breach of protocol, Kane said. But her eyes showed she was considering it. Protocol is compromised, Alina said. 14 operatives are at risk. Maybe more. We need to move fast and quiet. Vasquez nodded. I have contacts. People who owe me favors. We can set up a shadow operation. I can route our communications through civilian networks, Webb added. Make us invisible to official monitoring. Alina turned to Kane. I need authorization. Carte blanche. No questions asked. Kane was silent for a long moment. This was career-ending if it went wrong. But people would die if it went right. You have it, she said. But Elena, if this blows up, I can't protect you. I don't need protection. I need results. Kane reached into her briefcase, pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. These are the 14 operatives currently in deep cover. Their locations. Their legends. Everything we have on them. Alina opened the folder. Scanned the names and photos. Men and women. Different ages. Different backgrounds. But all of them had the same look in their eyes. The look of people who'd seen too much. Done too much. How do we know which ones are in immediate danger? Park asked. Alina pulled out her phone. The encrypted one from her locker. The one connected to her old life? She dialed a number. It rang twice. Yes. A male voice. Cautious. This is Nomad, Alina said. Her old calcine. Verification code Sierra-7-2-9er.a pause. Then, Nomad? We thought you were out. I'm back. Emergency recall. I need a status update on all field assets. Right now, that's not standard procedure. This is Nomad authorizing Emergency Protocol Delta. Lives are at risk. I need those status updates in the next 60 seconds or people die. Your choice? Another pause. Then typing. Fast. Okay, Pulling the data now. Most recent check-ins show. Wait, that's odd. Elena's grip tightened on the phone. What's odd? 3 of our assets haven't checked in. They're overdue. By 6 hours, Elena's blood went cold. Which 3? The voice read off names. Elena found them in the folder. Agent Maria Santos, Seattle legend, college professor. Agent Kevin Zhao, Chicago, legend, restaurant owner. Agent Rachel Okonkwo, Miami, legend, real estate agent. 3 cities. 3 operatives. All silent. Send teams to their last known locations, Elena ordered. Full extraction protocol. I want them secured within the hour. Copy that. Dispatching now, Elena ended the call. Looked at the team. We're too late, she said quietly. They're already moving. 3 more assets are compromised. Kane stood. We need to lock down everyone else. Bring them in. Safe houses no, Elena said. That's what they expect. We bring everyone in, we tip our hand. The mole knows we're onto them. They disappear. We lose our chance. Then what? Vasquez asked. Elena studied the files again, looking for a pattern, a connection, and she found it. All 3 missing operatives were investigating tech companies, she said. Santos was monitoring a biotech firm. Zhao was watching a defense contractor. Okonkwo was tracking a telecommunications company. Webb leaned over. That's not unusual. Most of our deep cover operations involve corporate espionage in some form, but they're all connected to the same thing, Elena said. She pulled up her own tablet, started cross-referencing. Artificial intelligence. Each of these companies is developing AI applications. Different applications, but the same core technology. Park's eyes widened. You think someone is consolidating AI research? Stealing it from multiple sources? Not just stealing, Elena said. Recruiting. They're pulling operatives from their missions, or eliminating them if they resist. But why? Kane asked. Elena looked at the photo of Torres, then at the 3 missing operatives, because they stumbled onto something so valuable, so dangerous, that someone is willing to burn entire intelligence networks to protect it. Her phone buzzed. The emergency line, she answered. Nomad, the voice on the other end, was panicked. We reached Santos's location. She's gone. Signs of a struggle. Blood, but no body. Elena closed her eyes. Zhao and Okonkwo. Same situation. Both missing. Both show evidence of violent extraction. Send me everything. Photos, evidence, all of it already done. Elena's phone chimed. Files downloading, she opened them. Crime scene photos. Blood spatter. Overturned furniture, but something caught her eye in one of the photos from Zhao's apartment. On the wall, written in blood, a symbol, 3 numbers, and a mark. The same tattoo Torres had. They're sending a message, Elena said. They know we're coming, and they're ready. Elena stared at the symbol on her screen. Blood written. Deliberate. It wasn't just a message. It was a taunt. They want us to know, she said quietly. They want us afraid. It's working, Webb muttered. Elena turned to Kane. I need to talk to Torres now. He's still unconscious. The anesthesia, then wake him up. We're out of time. 20 minutes later, Elena stood in the ICU. Torres lay in the bed, monitors beeping. His eyes were open now, unfocused, drugged. But aware, Captain Torres, Elena said softly. Can you hear me? His eyes found her. Recognition flickered. The nurse? You. You saved me. I'm not just a nurse. We're on the same side. But I need you to tell me what you found. What you discovered that made them come after you? Torres swallowed. His voice was weak. Project Cerberus. Elena leaned closer. What's Project Cerberus? Eye system? Not like anything we've seen. It's sentient, self-improving. They're building it from stolen research, from dozens of companies, thousands of pieces. Who's building it? Torres coughed. Pain crossed his face. Consortium, private contractors. intelligence. They call themselves the collective. They're buying scientists, stealing data, killing anyone who gets close. Why? What's the end goal? Torres's eyes met hers. Fear in them. Real fear. Control. Once Cerberus is fully operational, it can penetrate any system. Military, financial, power grids. Everything connected to the internet becomes theirs. Alina felt the implications wash over her. When does it go live? 72 hours. Maybe less. They're in the final integration phase where, I don't know. I was close. But they burned my access. Tried to kill me. Alina touched his shoulder. Gently. You did good. Rest now. She turned to leave. Wait, Torres said. There's someone. Inside the collective. They reached out to me. Said they wanted to stop this. Wanted to help? Do you have a name? No. Just a code name. Oracle. They sent me data. Proof of Cerberus. That's what I was trying to get to you. But I lost it when they came for me. Lost it where? Torres's eyes started to close. The drugs pulling him back under. Safe house, Brooklyn. Storage unit. Number. The voice you selected does not support this language. Please click the upper right corner to switch to another voice. My mother's birthday. June 6th. He was out. Alina stood there, processing a mole inside the collective. Someone who wanted to stop Cerberus, or a trap. She returned to the command center. The team looked up expectant. Torres gave us something, she said. There's a contact inside the collective. Someone who claims they want to help. They gave Torres evidence. It's in a storage unit in Brooklyn. Could be a setup, Vasquez said immediately. Probably is, Alina agreed. But it's the only lead we have, and we need that evidence. Kane pulled up a map. I can send a tactical team. Have them retrieve it. No, Alina said. They'll be watching. Any official presence will spook them, or spring the trap. I need to go alone. Absolutely not, Kane said. You're too valuable. I'm the only one who can do this, Alina interrupted. I've been in the field. I know how to spot surveillance. How to move without being seen. Your tactical teams are good, but they're trained for direct action. This requires subtlety. She's right, Vasquez said reluctantly. A full team would be too visible. Kane's jaw tightened. Fine, but you don't go alone. Take Vasquez. She's field-trained. Alina nodded. We leave in 10 minutes. Vasquez stood. I'll get the gear. As the team dispersed to prepare, Park approached Alina quietly. Colonel Soria Lane and I finished analyzing the financial data. There's something you should see. He pulled up a chart on his tablet. The money transfers I mentioned. I dug deeper. They all originate from shell companies. But those shell companies have one thing in common. What? They're all partially owned by a venture capital firm. Perseus Holdings. Elena's eyes narrowed. Never heard of them. Most people haven't. They're extremely private. But they invest in cutting-edge tech. AI research, quantum computing, biometrics, and get this, 3 of the companies are missing. Operatives we're investigating received funding from Perseus, so Perseus is the collective, or at least the financial arm of it. The public face. But here's where it gets interesting. Perseus has a silent partner. Someone who holds 30% of the company, but whose name doesn't appear on any public documents. Can you find out who? Park hesitated. I tried, hit a wall, but I know someone who might be able to help. A hacker. Not exactly legal, but very effective. Do it, Alina said. I need that name. There's one more thing. Park looked uncomfortable. The money trail. Some of those transfers went to accounts I recognized. Government accounts? Official ones. Alina went very still. You're saying someone in government is being paid by the collective? I'm saying someone with access to classified banking information has received payments from Perseus Holdings. Could be innocent. Could be consulting fees. Or we have a traitor, Alina finished. Park nodded. Alina looked across the room at Kane. The director was on the phone, barking orders, coordinating, leading. Could it be her? After all these years? No, Alina trusted her instincts. And her instincts said Kane was clean. But someone wasn't. Keep digging, Alina told Park. Find me that name. Both names. 30 minutes later, Alina and Vasquez sat in an unmarked car 3 blocks from the Brooklyn storage facility. Night had fallen. Streetlights cast orange pools on wet pavement. You really think there's evidence in there? Vasquez asked. I think there's something in there, Alina said. Whether it's evidence or an ambush, we'll find out. Vasquez checked her weapon. Compact Glock. Suppressor attached. I don't like going in blind. Neither do I. But sometimes that's all we have. They exited the car, moved through shadows. Alina's eyes scanned every window, every parked car, every dark doorway. Old habits. The storage facility was old. Brick building. Roll-up doors. Security fence with a keypad entry. Alina bypassed it easily. Lockpicks. 15 seconds, they were inside. Unit 247 was on the 3rd floor. They took the stairs. Quiet footfalls on concrete. The hallway was empty. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead. Alina approached the unit. Standard padlock. She pulled out Torres's mother's birthday code. Tried it. The lock clicked open. Too easy? She looked at Vasquez. Signaled. Potential trap? Vasquez nodded. Took position to the side. Alina gripped the handle of the roll-up door. Took a breath. Pulled it up fast. Nothing. No explosion. No gunfire. Just an empty storage unit. Except it wasn't empty. In the center sat a metal briefcase. Alina entered slowly. Eyes adjusting to the darkness, Vasquez followed. Weapon up. Check for tripwires, Alina whispered. They cleared the space. No bombs, no triggers, just the briefcase. Alina knelt beside it. Examined the locks. Biometric scanner. They knew Torres would never make it here, Vasquez said. So why leave this? Because someone else was meant to find it, Alina said. She pressed her thumb to the scanner. Nothing happened. Then a voice came from behind them. It requires the right fingerprint. Alina spun. Vasquez's gun came up. A figure stood in the doorway, backlit, impossible to see clearly. Who are you? Alina demanded. The figure stepped forward. Into the light. Alina's breath caught. It was Dr. Blackwood, but he looked different. His posture was different. Confident. Alert. He held a small device in his hand. Pressed his thumb to it. The briefcase clicked open. My name isn't Marcus Blackwood, he said. It's Dr. Adrian Cross. I've been undercover at St. Michael's for 5 years, and I'm Oracle. Alina's mind raced. The arrogant doctor, the man who'd dismissed her for 3 years, had been an operative the entire time. You're the mole inside the collective. Vasquez asked, guns still trained on him. I'm not a mole, Cross said. I'm a double agent. FBI placed me inside Perseus Holdings 7 years ago. I worked my way into their confidence, became part of the collective, and I've been feeding information back ever since. Why didn't you identify yourself earlier? Alina demanded. Because I couldn't risk blowing my cover. Not even when you revealed yourself tonight. The collective has eyes everywhere. If they suspected I was compromised, everything I've built would be gone. But you're here now, Vasquez said. Cross nodded. Because Torres's cover was blown, I had to assume mine was too. They're cleaning house, eliminating anyone who might know too much. I had maybe 12 hours before they came for me. So I took what I could and ran. He gestured to the briefcase. This is everything. Financial records, personnel files, the location of Cerberus, all of it. Alina looked at the briefcase, then at Cross. If you're really who you say you are, why not just turn this over to your FBI handlers? Cross's expression darkened. Because my handler is dead. Found him this morning, made to look like a heart attack. But I know better. The collective got to him, which means they have access to FBI systems. To our communications. I couldn't trust anyone, except us. Except the one person who I knew could handle herself. Who'd proven tonight that she was willing to fight. You, Colonel Mitchell. Alina studied him. Looking for deception? For the angle? But she saw only exhaustion and fear. Show me what you have, she said. Cross opened the briefcase fully. Inside were hard drives, documents, photos. He pulled out a folder. This is the current organizational chart of the collective. 37 members. All former intelligence, military, corporate espionage. They're well-funded, well-connected, and completely off the grid. Alina scanned the names. Some she recognized. Others were unknown. Then she saw one name that made her freeze. That's impossible, she whispered. Vasquez leaned over, looked. Her face went pale at the top of the organizational chart. Listed as founder and director, daughter, deputy director Thomas. Every asset. Every piece of classified information, that's your mole, Cross said quietly. That's who's been selling you out. Elena's phone buzzed. Kane's number. She didn't answer. Vasquez watched her carefully. What are you thinking? I'm thinking if Walsh is the collective's inside man, then everyone at that command center is compromised. He knows where we are, what we're doing, who we're protecting, Torres. Vasquez breathed. He'll send someone to finish the job. Alina was already moving. We need to get back. Now Cross grabbed the briefcase. I'm coming with you. This evidence needs to reach someone we can trust. They ran. Down the stairs. Through the facility. Into the night. Elena's car was parked 3 blocks away. They made it in 2 minutes. She drove fast, weaving through late-night traffic. Vasquez was on her phone. I'm calling my supervisor. Someone outside Kane's chain of command? Tell them to send everyone, Lena said. FBI, marshals. Hell, call the National Guard if you have to. But get them to St. Michael's. Cross sat in the back seat, the briefcase clutched to his chest. Walsh will have anticipated this. He's had years to plan. He won't let you stop Cerberus. Cerberus doesn't matter right now, Alina said. People matter. Torres matters. The hospital staff who got caught in this matter, her phone buzzed again. Kane. Third call. This time Alina answered. Put it on speaker. Where the hell are you? Kane demanded. I've been trying to reach you for 20 minutes, Brooklyn. Following a lead on the evidence, you should have checked in. I was about to send a team. Where's Walsh? Alina interrupted. Silence, Director Kane. Where is Deputy Director Walsh? He left about 15 minutes ago. Said he had to coordinate with another agency. Why? Elena's hands tightened on the wheel. Because he's the mole. He's been running the collective from inside our organization. The silence on the phone was deafening. Then Kane's voice. Quiet and deadly. Are you certain? I have documents. Financial records. He's listed as founder and director. I'm looking at his personnel file right now. 23 years of service. Decorated. Trusted all of it a cover, Alina said. A very good cover. But cover nonetheless. Kane cursed. Creatively, if Walsh has been feeding them information, then he knows about Torres. About the command center. About everything, Elena finished. We need to assume he's already made his move. She pushed the car faster. They were 10 minutes from the hospital. I'm evacuating the command center, Kane said. Moving Torres to a secure location? No, Elena said. If you do that, Walsh will know we're onto him. We need him to think everything is proceeding normally. So what do you suggest? Set a trap. Keep Torres where he is. Make sure Walsh knows he's vulnerable. When the hit team comes, we'll be waiting. You're using a wounded man as bait, Kane said. I'm using a wounded operative to catch a traitor, Alina corrected. Torres would understand. He's a soldier. He knows the cost. Kane was quiet for a long moment. Okay, but we do this smart. I'll position teams around the ICU, hidden, ready to move, and I want full surveillance on Walsh. Track his phone. His movements. Who he talks to? Already done. Alina ended the call. Looked at Vasquez. You trust your FBI supervisor? With my life? Then call him again. Tell him to put Walsh under surveillance too. From the outside, I want redundancy. Vasquez made the call. They reached the hospital 7 minutes later. Alina parked in the emergency bay, badged her way past security. The emergency department was quieter now. The chaos from earlier had been cleaned up. New staff had been brought in. The injured patients moved, but the tension remained. Alina made her way to the ICU. Kane met her outside Torres's room. He's stable, Kane said, conscious, asking for you. Alina entered. Torres looked better. Some color in his face. His eyes clear. Colonel, he said. I heard you found my package. Oracle found us, Alina corrected. And we found something interesting. Deputy Director Walsh? Torres's expression darkened. I suspected someone high up. But Walsh? He has access to everything. Which is why the collective has been so effective, Alina said. Every time we get close, Walsh feeds them information, reroutes investigations, protects his people. So what's the play? Alina sat in the chair beside his bed. Your bait. Walsh will send someone to finish what they started. When they come, we take them down, make them talk. Get evidence that connects directly to Walsh. Torres nodded slowly. I can handle that. You'll be protected. Kane has a full team in place, I know. But they won't come with a full assault. Not in a hospital. Too many witnesses. They'll send someone quiet. Someone who can blend in. Torres was right. Alina knew he was right. A nurse, she said quietly. Or a doctor. Someone in scrubs who can walk right past security, just like you, Torres said with a small smile. Alina stood. Get some rest. It's going to be a long night. She left the room. Found Kane in the hallway with Vasquez and Cross. Where's your team positioned? Alina asked. Kane pulled up a tablet. Showed her a map of the ICU floor. Red dots marked her personnel. 8 people. All armed. All trained. Good coverage, Alina said. But not good enough. She pointed to a blind spot near the service elevator. Someone could come up through here. Avoid the main checkpoints. I'll put 2 more people there, Kane said. And we need someone inside the room. With Torres? Kane shook her head. Too obvious. Any attacker would see them. Not if they're medical staff, Alina said. She looked down at her scrubs. Still wearing them from earlier? I'll stay with him. Play the dutiful nurse. Anyone comes in, I'll be ready. You've been up for almost 24 hours, Kane said. You need rest. I'll rest when this is over. Vasquez stepped forward. I'll take first watch with you. For our shifts, we rotate. Alina nodded. Works for me. Cross spoke up. What about the evidence? The briefcase. Give it to Kane, Alina said. Get it somewhere secure? Multiple copies. Make sure if something happens to us, it still gets out. Cross handed over the briefcase. Kane took it like it was made of gold. I'll personally deliver this to the Director of National Intelligence, she said. No intermediaries. No chain of command. Direct do it now, Alina said. Before Walsh realizes what we have, Kane left. Cross went with her. Extra protection, Alina and Vasquez returned to Torres's room. They settled in. Alina in the chair by the bed, Vasquez by the door. Both alert? Both ready? You really think they'll come tonight? Torres asked. I think they'll come soon, Alina said. Walsh knows his time is limited. Once we start digging into his background, his finances, his communications, he's finished. His only play is to eliminate witnesses and disappear. So I'm the key witness, Kara said. You and Kraus, you're the ones who can connect him directly to the collective. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. The hospital settled into its nighttime rhythm. Beeping monitors. Soft conversations. The squeak of shoes on linoleum. Elena's eyes never closed. Years of training. Years of surviving on no sleep. At 2:17 a.m., her phone buzzed. Text from Park, found the silent partner in Perseus Holdings. You're not going to believe this. Alina opened the attachment. A document. Financial records. DNA in the code. The pattern led back to a single person. Senator Elizabeth Harrow, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The woman who oversaw their entire agency. Alina showed the message to Vasquez. Watch the color drain from her face. It goes all the way to the top, Vasquez whispered. Not just Walsh, Alina said. This is bigger than we thought. At 3:03 a.m., nurse entered Torres's room. Alina didn't recognize her. Blonde hair, kind face. Scrubs identical to Alina's. Just here to check vitals, the nurse said cheerfully. But Alina saw it. The way she held the syringe. Too carefully. Too precisely. The way her eyes swept the room, assessing, calculating. Alina stood, positioned herself between the nurse and Torres. I'll handle the vitals, Alina said. Her voice friendly, disarming. The nurse smiled. Oh, that's okay. It's my job. I insist. Alina stepped closer. Hospital policy. Primary nurse maintains care consistency. The nurse's smile didn't waver, but her hand shifted. The syringe moved slightly. Alina saw her weight shift. Preparing to strike now, Alina said quietly. Vasquez moved fast. Weapon out. The nurse spun. Threw the syringe at Vasquez. It missed by inches. Then she pulled a knife from her scrubs. Military grade. Carbon fiber. Wouldn't show on metal detectors. She lunged at Alina. Alina sidestepped. Cut the knife hand. Twisted. The blade clattered to the floor. The nurse was good, trained. She broke. Alina's grip drove an elbow at Alina's throat. Alina blocked. Countered with a palm strike to the sternum. The nurse stumbled, gasped. Vasquez had her gun trained. Don't move, but the nurse moved anyway. Backward, fast. Toward the window. Alina realized too late. She's got an exit plan. The nurse hit the window. Reinforced glass. But she had something in her hand. A small device. She pressed it against the glass. Shaped charge. Tiny. Precise. The explosion was small, contained, but effective. The window shattered. The nurse was gone. Rappelling down the side of the building, Alina ran to the window. Looked down. Saw the nurse reach the ground. Saw a black van waiting. Saw her jump in. The van sped away. Call it in, Alina said. I want that van stopped. Vasquez was already on the radio. All units, suspect fleeing in black van. License plate. She leaned out the window. Read off the numbers. Kane's voice came through. Units are responding. We'll set up roadblocks. But Alina knew. The nurse, the assassin, had planned this. Had multiple escape routes. She'd be gone before they could coordinate. She failed, Torres said from the bed. His voice weak but determined. That's what matters. I'm still alive, Alina. Turn to him. For now, but they'll try again. Walsh won't stop. Her phone buzzed. Kane, we have a problem, the director said. Walsh is gone. He left the building 20 minutes ago. Said he was going home, but we sent a team to his house. He's not there, and his phone is off. He's running, Alina said. He knows we're on to him. There's more, Kane said. I just got word. Senator Harrow requested an emergency meeting with the president. Tomorrow morning. She's going to brief him on a catastrophic intelligence failure. She's going to claim our agency has been compromised. Alina understood immediately. She's going to blame you. Discredit the investigation before it can reach her, and she'll succeed. Unless we can prove her connection to the collective, the briefcase has evidence of financial transactions. But nothing that directly connects her to operational control. A good lawyer could argue she was defrauded. That she didn't know Perseus was dirty. Alina's mind raced. They needed more. Concrete evidence. A confession. Something undeniable. Where's Cerberus? She asked suddenly. What? The AI system. Cerberus. Where is it being built? Silence as Kane checked the documents. According to Cross's intel, a private research facility, upstate New York. 3 hours from here? And when does it go live? 48 hours. Alina looked at Vasquez, at Torres, at the shattered window and the blood on the floor. Then that's where we go, Alina said. We shut down Cerberus. We get the evidence we need. And we end this, Alina. That facility will be heavily guarded. Military-grade security. You'd need an army? I don't need an army, Alina interrupted. I need a team. A good team? People I trust. I'm in, Vasquez said immediately. Count me in too, Torres said from the bed. I can still shoot. You just had surgery, Alina said, and I'll have it again if necessary. But this is my mission. My team that got killed. I'm finishing it. Alina looked at him, saw the determination, the need for closure. She nodded. Kane, Alina said into the phone. I need full tactical support, weapons, intelligence, extraction. You'll have it, and I need you to keep Senator Harrow busy. Delay that meeting with the president. Give us time. I'll do what I can. Alina ended the call, looked at her team. 2 people, 1 wounded, against a facility full of trained soldiers and the most advanced AI system ever created. Bad odds. She'd faced worse. Get some rest, she told them. We move in 6 hours. But Alina didn't rest. She sat by the window, watched the city lights, thought about the last 3 years, the quiet life, the simple life. Being invisible, it had been nice. For a while, but she'd always known it couldn't last. People like her didn't get simple lives. They got missions. They got duty. They got the hard choices no one else could make. Behind her, Torres slept fitfully. Vasquez dozed in the chair. Alina pulled out her phone, the encrypted one. Dialed a number she'd memorized but never called. It rang once. Twice. Hello? A voice, familiar. Warm mom, Alina said quietly. It's me, Alina. Honey, it's 3 in the morning. Are you okay? I'm fine. I wanted to hear your voice. What's wrong? Alina smiled. Her mother always knew. I have to do something tomorrow. Something dangerous. And I needed to tell you that I love you. Just in case. Alina Reyes, don't you dare talk like that. You come home safe. You hear me? You always come home safe. I'll try, Mom. No. You promise me. Alina looked out at the city, at the millions of people sleeping, unaware of the threat, unaware that their world hung in the balance. I promise, she said. She ended the call, stood, checked her weapon. Tomorrow. She'd go back to being a soldier, but tonight, for just a few more hours. She was still Alina Reyes, nurse, daughter, protector, and she would keep her promise.